Hi, my name is Eldar. I am a student at the University of Skövde. In this video, I want to showcase the project I was working on in our last course, where we were designing and importing sound into the Unity engine and using FMOD to integrate all the sounds. I will be playing through the game and showing some of the sounds and then go more in depth in the FMOD project. But for now, let's just play the game. One of the few things that I've done is go into options, and I really wanted this to work. And look, if you change the master volume to 0, it will like just lower all the volume. And if you lower music, the music is gone. And if you lower the SFX, all of the ambience and sound effects are just gone. Let's start the game. Now when we load into the game, the music is playing and the ambience is playing, and also our character is making some sound with the footsteps. I mean, some feedback on the jumps, landing. The footstep change when you're on a different service. The key pickup sound. Different sound on the grass. Some acid loops. And whenever you go into the cave, there's a bit of a different sound to it. As you can see, you can progressively go into the cave. You can also slowly go out of it. Some debris, pebbles, stones falling down. The wall breaking. Some chompers. Attacking. And wahaha. Some healing. We can't take it because I'm full on health. We take the key. So the next key is to the left, and yeah, I just know it because I played the game a few times. Sound of the crystal and the door pulling. We have also the box. It will also make a sound when it goes into the falls into the acid. So yeah, and some sound of some player feedback from the plates. Whenever they're like activated, it's really good to hear it as well. Some sound of the spitter. Oh god. That's the sound and the door closing. The health pickup, by the way. Sounds like that, yeah. Some more acid loops. The chomper. Sound of the pressure plates again. It's pretty nice feedback whenever you have these kind of sounds, because for example, this one is like, oh yeah, nice, I activating the sound, nice. And it's working really well, yay. And now we can just go here, go down. some spitters. Oh. Alright. Okay, that was way too close. Open another door, get some healing. And yeah, just wait. It's a bit hard to hear, but there's some cave ambience, definitely. It's just a bit hard to hear. But you can hear that some sounds and noises are a bit, like, it has a bit of echo in it, like reverb. And it also sounds not as loud as well, and not as clean. Like this one, for example. And now, let's just go to the boss room and take a look at the boss. Alright, get some healing. Some cave ambience. Alright, let's just go now. Alright, and then it's on. Right. Well, I don't know how that, but no, it's all fine. Dodge this. I did not dodge it. I did not dodge it. Okay. Just kill him. Nice. Then we just go back, and now we're done with the game. So let's just go to the FMOD project now and take a look at how that was done. What? Ignore. Let's start with the ambience. We have ambience and we have the acid loop. We can take a look at the acid loop and the acid, just the acid in the whole. So the acid loop sounds like this. And this acid splash sounds like this. It's pretty much just bubbly water, at least in this one, and some water that just put together, higher pitch and stuff, and this was what I got. There's also a cave ambience, which consists of the drone, which is the background. It's really hard to hear it, but it's like rumbly, like it's a rumbly sound noise in the background. It's hard to hear, but it does a lot for the sound. There are some water drops and some debris falling, and so everything is depending on, for example, if the cave water drop is at 1, the value of it gets higher and the volume goes up. And when it comes to debris falling, I'm pretty sure it's the spawn rate of the, it's the spawn rate of the debris falling. So whenever it's like 1, for example, it'll be activating much more frequently than if it's at 0. So as you already can see, it's far less now. I mean, it's a lot now, but like it should be less. because it's at 50% right now. Yeah, as you can see, the spawn rate is just going up, and you can see it on the knob as well. It's just going up, keeps going up. Anyways, next one is the outdoor sound, which is pretty basic. It has the ambience forest recorded with the Omni microphone. Just some background noise. We also have the wind, which is at 0, but sometimes it goes up to 1. And it's just pretty much the volume just goes up. And you can hear it a bit more. Nice. There is a 3D cave snapshot. Actually, I'll take a look at it a bit later. For now, we're going to talk a little bit about the ambience manager. So in the game, there's a few zones, which are just like very static. So you have the zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, and zone 4. And so I named them zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, just to make sure I know exactly which one I mean and stuff. So whenever you load into a new scene, it will just be, just like, if you're in zone 1, you load into zone 1, and then the zone 1 settings are like in. And the same goes for zone 2 and zone 3 and zone 4. Actually, yeah, I just wanted to talk about like one funny bug that I had, but I'll do it later. So here is a reference of the ambience outdoor, and here I have some, like a new sound that is ambient swamp, which I could have had in the background ambience, I guess, but it became a layer because I was really lazy to yeah, I was just lazy, so I just did it this way. Anyways, I have the ambience cave in zone 3 and zone 4, as that is the cave ambiences. Ambient swamp sounds like this. It's pretty much at the start of the game. You'll hear it. I think even in the main menu, yeah. And then we have also the commands, which are pretty much the parameter commands that control these parameters. And the reason I put them here is actually just to like remind the computer to just like close or to like set it to 0 every time, because as you can see, the value of these ones are 0 on both of these. This one is set to 0.37, this one is 0, and this one is 1, and this one is 0.44. And the reason for it is because I had a bug where if you went from zone 4 to for example zone 2 or zone 1, you would just be still having the debris falling in the cave water drops, even though you shouldn't have those. So yeah, it's just a good thing to just like remember to also go to 0. We have the cave snapshot, and yeah, let's just talk a little about cave snapshot, as the cave snapshot is the most important one in my opinion. Let's bring up the paint. So the cave snapshot consists of the cave ambience, which is pretty much just this one. I just like refer to it like this. The cave snapshot, however, is a 3D snapshot, which works like this. It has like, when you put it into Unity, it has like a zone like this, and then it has like another zone like this. And so whenever you go from outdoor to the cave, the sound is pretty much like this, and actually let's do it like this and like this. So whenever you walk into the cave, you go through the first layer of the sound, which is this one, which just like turns the knob from 0 to 1, where this is 1 and this is 0 something. So it was really cool. I like the way it like works, because like even though you might be right here, the sound will always be this amount. It's a bit different with, for example, just triggering a sound with a trigger box, as when you use a trigger box, it just tells you that whenever you go into the circle, the 0 becomes a 1. And it can only be a 1 and a 0 and nothing in between. But if you add a distance parameter to it, it's a bit different. Oh, yeah. So when you add a distance parameter, it will just know that it will just know where to go and how it works and stuff. It's just easier, and I feel like, in my opinion, much better, because yeah, like I said, it doesn't go from 0 to 1 immediately, and it goes from 0 something to 1, because sometimes players can find the sweet spot where they're gonna go like from this every time to this, and then they keep like going back and forth. And if they go back and forth, the numbers will always be like 0 and 1. So yeah, it's a bit hard to explain, but I hope it helps at least a little. Let's jump into the enemies and just leave the ambience for now, just hanging. We have a... No, let's just talk about the state machine immediately. It's I think it's, in my opinion, it's better. So I had some fun with the state machine. I have the different kinds of states of the chomper. Well, not only chomper, but also the spitter. And I have an enemy picker, which pretty much says, if you're chomper, play these sounds, and if you're spitter, play these sounds. It's much better to make like 2 events for it. It's definitely much better to make 2 events, but if you want to have fun, it's yeah. So whenever it's chomper, the sounds that are being like played and stuff, or the chomper sounds, which are these ones, so they color coded it as well. And when it's spitter attack, it plays these ones. And these ones, for example, spitter attack and chomper attack and all, they are just references from spitter attack, which sounds like this. Enemy footsteps sounds like this. The when enemies die sounds like this. The chomper attack sounds like this. And so the enemy state machine pretty much just combines them all and puts them in the same event. So for example, the chomper attack here sounds like this. It has some effects on it, like the pitch shifter and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty simple, pretty basic. And then we have the seize the player state. It's when the chomper is pretty much just running after you. It will make the sound. If it goes into the attack state, it will attack. And it sounds like this. And when the chomper dies, it sounds like this. Whenever it's spitter, it's very basic. It sounds like this. And it's in idle state. And then it jumps into the attack, where it like spits at you, and yeah, that's how he attacks. The way it's all made is like I have one spitter route that pretty much changes the volume, and a chomper route that changes the volume depending on if it's spitter or chomper. So as you can see, this one is at 0, this one is at 10 dB, and if you change this to spitter, this one will be at 10 dB, and this one will be at 0. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the enemies. Uh, it was very fun to make something like this, but it's definitely something. It's definitely an overscope. You shouldn't be in need of doing something like this. It would be much better to make a different, just make an event for the chomper and then make an event for the spitter. But yeah. When it comes to gunner, actually, wait, let's take it as the last one. Let's go through the interactables. I have a distractible wall. Sounds like this. Just some stones, pebbles, just for mine. A sound of the door opening. A sound of the door switching, the door switch, the crystal button thing. It's pretty heavily randomized. It has a pitch and it has some automation on it as well. Uh, yeah, as you can hear. I have some pickup health as well. It's the small little boxes. And that's how it sounds. The key pickup, it actually changes the... I don't think I put it in the game, but it was supposed to be like this, and then it goes to... And then just like gets stronger and it gets like a bit higher pitched, which I really liked. But it's not in the game because I didn't have the time to put it in the game, so it just exists. Pressure pad attack. I'll be completely honest. I don't know which one of these are in the game, so but pretty sure it's this one. I think it's in the game. I have a sound of the pressure pad. I thought of using this one first, but I'm pretty sure I couldn't find any way of like going out of the sound. So it just... So yeah. I think they're... Yeah, it's definitely not the sound that I was using because it's not really accurate. Anyways, I have the sound of the pushbox as well here. It has an early end parameter and end parameter. So whenever the player just immediately goes to 1, whenever the player immediately goes to 1, it will just... There's a little bit of sound, but it's not a lot. And when it goes to end, it just stops immediately. And yeah, it's made as a security measure just in case like people like spam the button, for example, and people spam a lot of buttons all the time. So it's really good to have like these kind of things to not like break the um to not just like break the sounds in the game, because very easily can happen that people just press a lot of buttons all the time and it just like adds a lot of like voices on top of each other, and then just like doesn't stops working. So yeah, I was not the one making music, so I'll just skip over it and we will just go into the player. um, some footstep sounds. And we have some rocks. So yeah, this parameter changes the surface. So whenever it's grass, it's grass. Whenever it's rock, it's rock. And whenever it's metal, it's metal. And so we have a hurt sound. Some jumping sounds. Yeah, I think I should probably talk a little bit about the... so the hurt sound is just pretty much is a multi-instrument that is playing 3 different sounds with a little bit different pitch. But the one thing that is very fun to talk about is probably the jumping and the landing. So when the player jumps, there's a sound of him jumping. There's a swoosh. There's some clothing making sound. To just emphasize some power. And we have also the sound of the girl who's, well, jumping. And as you can see, sometimes it doesn't go off, and because it's because of the chance that is 59%. So, which means that it won't always be playing, but it will be playing sometimes whenever you're jumping. So it's pretty nice to have. Then we have some landing stuff as well. Here a lot of it depends on, for example, if it's grass, rock, metal. And it sounds a bit more fuller and bigger. Well, because the player is jumping, of course. And I wanted to make the sound a bit different from, for example, when he's like just running around. And yeah, I made some differences, but I feel like it could have gone better. I could have done better. But I'm still happy. I'm not completely sure, but I think I changed the interval of the jumps a little. Yeah, so I wanted to try to make it sound like as if the player is jumping with the 2 feet. And because he's jumping with 2 feet, there might be 2 sounds of the, for example, surface. So for example, the first one and the second one has like 40 milliseconds of a delay. So yeah, I feel like that's what makes a huge difference. Sounds bigger, fuller, and a bit more powerful. The bullet hit is not in the game, but it sounds cool, so it was supposed to make sound whenever the bullet hit something, but I quickly realized it was pretty... I don't know, it wasn't really that useful, because a lot of the times the bullet would just go somewhere and then it will just destroy itself, but it would break like far away. And so if it's far away and it does make a lot of sound, it just doesn't really like, you can't really hear it anyways. And whenever you were close and you were hitting, it was pretty nice hearing it, but it just wasn't really something that important, so I didn't want to put a lot of time in it. This is the melee attack. It has a swoosh and a metal layer. Pretty simple. We have a range attack. So yeah, we can go through a bit of the layers here. Some mechanical sounds and some power textures. It's a bit in the mid and high end right now, but this one is supposed to be, yeah, in the lower end, low mid end, kind of. The transient is just there to give a bit of power. I really liked how it sounds because it really gives a lot of power to the sound. And the bass to more power, for more power. And whenever you mute this one, for example, as you can hear, it doesn't like have this punchy feel. And without the bass, it just loses all this power. It just sounds really weak. And yeah. And without the textures, I feel like without the textures, it sounds so like boring. And doesn't really sound like a sci-fi instrument or something, like a sci-fi weapon. Whenever you add these, it just makes it so much better. At least in my opinion, of course. And let's just hop onto the UI now. We're pretty much done with the player sounds. So the button click for UI hover. Oh, yeah, just a button click. This. So whenever you click on the button, it will just make the sound every time. I wanted to add like a sound of button hover as well, but it became an extra thing. And there was a bug in the game as well with the buttons. So whenever you would like go like with your mouse and hover over a button, it would just like go on, and then would just go off and then go on again, even though like you don't really go out of the trigger box and stuff. So it just was a bit weird, and so I didn't have it in the game. We could go through some layers probably. This is like a texture layer. It's just a stone, like a brick sliding on the floor. And then we have some bass. Just some debris. And more debris. I'm pretty sure it's also a bit randomized. Yeah, the pitch is randomized, as you can see on some, not this one, but especially a lot on this one. The button start is a bit more powerful, because it's like when you start the game, I wanted to like make it feel like a big thing. So it has a rock friction when the brick slides on the floor. Some debris sound and some bass, low end bass, and together it just sounds really nice. All right, let's go to the gunner, which is the big boss. Let's just go through the grenade explosion. It's pretty much just a one shot, and it triggers whenever the bomb explodes. The laser is when the boss attacks you with the laser attack. This is the lightning attack. The boss shield down. And the boss shield up. Let's listen to it again. When the boss takes damage, there's a metal hit, metallic sound to it. And then boss walking. Sounds pretty cool. A boss steam state, which is pretty much when he's on and he's doing stuff, and then when he's going down and then he's just like kind of half dead, and he's trying to like charge up his batteries and stuff. I don't really know. He's like in the weak state. So yeah. So yeah, the parameter pretty much always goes from 0 to 2, and it sounds like this. Let's go quickly through some of the sounds. This is the mechanical hum, musical hum, which is pretty much just a tonal sound. And then we have the mechanical loop, which is a bit on the high end. And then we have some mid-low loop. It's pretty much just the same as this one, but it's a bit slower. And this one is faster, so it sounds like, I don't know, it sounds really good together, as you can hear. And these two are like they're pretty much the sounds that work really well together, because I don't know, it's just perfect, and it only triggers whenever the boss, for example, is going down, so it just goes here, and when the boss is going up. So it only triggers whenever the boss goes from one state to another, pretty much. So, oh yeah, and also these sounds are it's pretty much like electricity, electric sounds, as if it's like damaged. Let's just listen to it like from beginning. Let's listen to these middle parts. And let's listen to the steam. Yeah, and that was pretty much it. And then we go to the boss die as the last sound of the game. I will be honest, I was kind of lazy with this one, because I made the sound as this. And I didn't really like the sound. So what I did was just like, I like broke it down into different parts and just made like a attack, like a harder attack and like stronger sound. And I really like this one more than this one. Yeah, and this was the last sound that I wanted to showcase. It was very fun to work on the project, and yeah, it was just really fun. Thank you for watching, though. It was very fun having like at least someone see this. Yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.